Sha'Carri Richardson, one of America's brightest track and field stars, known not just for her lightning-fast speed but also for her bold personality and emotional resilience, has found herself at the center of a controversy that no one saw coming. On July 27, what started as a routine day at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport quickly spiraled into a serious legal matter. According to reports obtained from the Port of Seattle Police Department, the 25-year-old Olympian was arrested after allegedly assaulting her longtime boyfriend and fellow sprinter, Christian Coleman, at a TSA security checkpoint. The incident occurred in full view of airport surveillance cameras and witnesses. Eyewitnesses claim they saw the couple engaged in a heated argument. What escalated the situation was when Sha'Carri allegedly shoved Coleman multiple times as he attempted to walk away, trying to de-escalate the situation himself. But it didn't end there. In a moment of visible frustration, Richardson is said to have hurled a pair of headphones at him, an action that authorities believed was aggressive enough to warrant legal intervention. Once airport police reviewed the footage, they determined there was probable cause to arrest Richardson on charges of fourth-degree domestic violence assault. This classification, while considered a misdemeanor, is still taken seriously, particularly because it involves allegations of physical harm between people in a domestic or romantic relationship. The arrest shocked fans, who have followed Richardson's emotional and athletic journey from Olympic hopeful to global sensation, to someone now entangled in an unfortunate legal situation. Richardson was taken into custody at the South Correctional Entity, located in Des Moines, Washington. However, her time behind bars was brief. She spent less than 24 hours in custody before being released. In a surprising twist, Christian Coleman, despite being at the center of the altercation, chose not to press charges. According to the official police report, Coleman declined to be considered a victim and requested not to pursue any legal action against Richardson. With that decision, the case was ultimately cleared, and no further legal steps are currently being pursued. This wasn't just a random couple caught in a public disagreement, this was two internationally recognized athletes. Sha'Carri Richardson is not only known for her dominance on the track but also for her candidness, her unapologetic personality, and her deeply emotional public moments. Christian Coleman is also no stranger to the spotlight, having made a name for himself in global track and field events. The couple, who have been together for over 2 years, have managed to stay mostly out of the tabloid spotlight, until now. While the arrest made headlines, Sha'Carri didn't let the incident define her. Just 4 days later, both she and Coleman appeared in Oregon to participate in the USA Track and Field Outdoor Championships. Despite the media frenzy, both athletes kept their focus on the track. In a short but telling statement, USATF acknowledged the reports but refused to comment further. The message was clear: the show must go on. Richardson, in her signature confident style, addressed the media after her qualifying race. "Right now, I'm cruising under the radar," she said. "When it's time to hit, it's gonna be a bang where y'all see my name." Her words served as both a promise and a warning. Despite personal turmoil, her eyes were still firmly fixed on athletic greatness. But as the tension surrounding her personal life collided with her professional goals, questions began to swirl. Would the arrest impact her performance? Would sponsors start pulling away? Would this be another hurdle in a career already marked by extraordinary highs and painful lows? In the days that followed, Richardson made a strategic choice. Though she had advanced to the semi-final round of the 100-meter race, she ultimately withdrew. Some speculated that it was due to emotional exhaustion, while others suggested it was a calculated move, given her automatic qualification for the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo as the reigning world champion in the 100-meter sprint. Regardless of the reason, her withdrawal only fueled more speculation and debate. But one thing is clear: Sha'Carri Richardson remains a headline maker, both on and off the track. As the world watches her next move, the question remains: will she use this moment to spark yet another legendary comeback, or will the weight of public scrutiny slow her down to press any charges against Richardson? According to the official police report, Coleman explicitly declined to be labeled as a victim and refused to pursue the matter further. This decision led to the case being marked as cleared, though the headlines and public reaction were anything but calm. Sha'Carri's arrest quickly circulated across social media and news outlets, sparking a debate that extended far beyond track and field circles. Some questioned whether celebrities and public figures receive leniency in domestic situations when compared to the general public. Others jumped to Richardson's defense, citing the immense pressure she's been under since rising to international fame and suggesting that this may have been a regrettable emotional moment rather than a pattern of abusive behavior. The controversy comes at a delicate time for Richardson, who has been riding a career resurgence following her comeback at the 2024 Paris Olympics. After being disqualified from the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 due to a positive marijuana test, a decision that was widely criticized, Richardson returned to the track in spectacular fashion. She earned a silver medal in the 100-meter dash and helped lead Team USA to gold in the 4x100-meter women's relay. Her redemption arc had become a source of inspiration, especially for young athletes and fans of color who saw in her a symbol of perseverance, authenticity, and raw talent. So, when news of her arrest broke, it felt like déjà vu to many, another bump in a career already marked by very public highs and lows. Yet despite the headlines, Richardson appeared undeterred. Just 4 days after her arrest, she was back on the track alongside Coleman, both competing in the preliminary rounds of the USA Track and Field, USATF, Outdoor Championships in Oregon. USATF issued a brief but telling statement. USATF is aware of the reports and is not commenting on this matter. It was a diplomatic way of acknowledging the elephant in the room while attempting to steer focus back to the sport. Nonetheless, the optics of Richardson and Coleman running side by side so soon after the airport incident did not go unnoticed by fans and media alike. And Richardson? She seemed laser-focused. Speaking to The Athletic after the race, she remarked, "Right now, I'm cruising under the radar. When it's time to hit, it's gonna be a bang where y'all see my name." Her words carried weight, not just as an athlete aiming to make a statement on the track, but also as a woman pushing through adversity in the public eye. The message was clear: Sha'Carri Richardson isn't retreating, but even as she competed, questions lingered about how the incident might impact her future, both legally and professionally. Would sponsors back away? Would the public rally behind her again? Or would this be the moment her momentum slowed just as it had begun to peak again? As the dust from the arrest began to settle, attention shifted once again to Sha'Carri Richardson's performance on the track. All eyes were on whether she would allow the controversy to derail her momentum, or if she would channel it into yet another defining chapter in her career. Surprisingly, when it came time to compete in the highly anticipated 100-meter semifinals at the USATF Outdoor Championships, Richardson withdrew. The decision sent shockwaves through the stadium and social media alike. Speculation ran wild. Was she feeling the emotional toll of the arrest? Had there been tension between her and Coleman behind the scenes? Was she protecting her brand by avoiding a potentially disappointing performance in the midst of controversy? USA Track and Field confirmed her withdrawal but offered no further explanation. Fans were left to wonder. After all, Sha'Carri had just told reporters she was cruising under the radar, only to suddenly vanish from the marquee event she was most expected to dominate. It was a perplexing move, especially given her reputation for competitiveness and drama on the track. But then, Richardson made another announcement. She would still compete in the 200-meter event scheduled for August 3rd. It was a bold pivot, one that indicated she was not stepping away from the sport, but rather reshaping the narrative on her own terms. After all, she wasn't under pressure to qualify for the 100-meter at next year's World Championships in Tokyo. She had already secured an automatic bid as the reigning world champion in that event. Still, her decision raised questions. Was this a strategic sidestep to avoid further media attention or a calculated move to focus on an event where she had more to prove? The 200-meter sprint, while not her primary event, could be an opportunity for her to showcase resilience and keep the spotlight on her athletic prowess rather than her personal life. Meanwhile, the broader conversation surrounding Richardson was evolving. Critics pointed to a pattern of controversy: her 2021 Olympic ban, her public fallout with track officials in the past, and now this domestic assault allegation, as evidence that Richardson's off-track behavior continues to overshadow her talents. Others, however, saw a different story, that of a young black woman navigating fame, trauma, and relentless scrutiny while remaining unapologetically herself. Her relationship with Christian Coleman, also a decorated sprinter, had largely flown under the radar until now. The public learned they had been together for 2 years, yet little was known about their private life. Their joint presence at the championship races post-incident suggested an effort to move forward, but it also stirred debate about accountability and optics. Some fans were uncomfortable watching the two compete so soon after a reported altercation, while others praised them for appearing professional despite personal challenges. As the clock ticks toward the 200-meter race, the stakes remain high. Richardson has more than medals to defend. She's protecting her legacy, her image, and perhaps most importantly, her peace. With each stride she takes on the track, she is not only sprinting for the finish line, but also for redemption in the court of public opinion. As the sun rose on August 3rd, anticipation buzzed through the stands at Hayward Field. It wasn't just another race day, it was the moment the world had been waiting for. Would Sha'Carri Richardson show up not just physically, but mentally and emotionally? Would she silence her critics and turn headlines into highlights? And then, she appeared. Wearing her signature flair, fiery hair, glittering nails, and that unmistakable swagger, Richardson stepped onto the track for the 200-meter preliminary heats. The crowd erupted. Whatever storm she had faced off the track, it was clear, Sha'Carri wasn't backing down. If anything, the controversy seemed to fuel her. From the moment the starting gun fired, Richardson was locked in. Her stride was sharp, her form tight. And as she blazed around the curve, there was a visible shift in the energy. This wasn't just a race, it was a statement. She crossed the finish line with power and precision, qualifying easily for the next round. No drama. Just dominance off the track. However, the questions remained. While Christian Coleman had refused to press charges and the domestic assault case was officially closed, the court of public opinion was still very much in session. Social media had exploded with divided takes. Some called for consequences. Others called it a private matter. But one sentiment echoed across both camps: Sha'Carri's talent was undeniable. Her supporters rallied behind her, emphasizing her resilience, her openness about personal struggles, and her role as a trailblazer. They pointed out that, unlike many in the spotlight, Richardson never pretended to be perfect. She had always been raw, real, and unapologetically herself. That authenticity, flawed as it might be, was part of what made her magnetic still. The pressure was mounting. Richardson is not just a sprinter anymore, she's a symbol. To some, she represents Black excellence, individuality, and resistance to outdated norms in athletics. To others, she's a cautionary tale of a star teetering too close to the edge of controversy, but perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Richardson is a 25-year-old woman navigating fame, love, and legacy on a world stage most could never imagine. She's made mistakes, yes, but she's also made history. And now, as she eyes the 200-meter finals and the upcoming World Championships in Tokyo, one thing is certain: Sha'Carri's story is far from over. What comes next may define her career even more than the medals. Will she rise above the noise and continue her reign as track and field royalty? Or will the weight of public scrutiny and personal turmoil take its toll? For now, all we know is this: Sha'Carri Richardson is still running, faster, fiercer, and more fearlessly than ever. And whether you cheer her on or question her choices, one thing's for sure: you can't look away, because with every stride she takes, she's not just racing for gold, she's racing to reclaim the narrative.